purchase an eligible new 30 to 450 horsepower Yamaha outboard and get up to 7 years of coverage protection, plus up to $500 in dealer credit, or earn up to $700 in dealer credit on eligible 2.5 to 25 horsepower models. Fall into savings today.
Dave Anderson here with the Fisherman magazine. It is November 20th. These are your headlines. We're hearing about some good freshwater fishing this week. Some really nice largemouth bass coming out of interior portions of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Also, the togging remains strong from Massachusetts all the way clear through Connecticut. And we've seen some really nice sea bass coming out of inshore waters in Rhode Island this week. Stay tuned for all that and more on this week's New England Fishing Forecast.
The ultimate fishing authority in the Northeast, the Fisherman magazine.
Before we begin, we got a few news items for you guys. The first thing I want to talk about is the latest edition of the Fisherman magazine. We got a little promo video here to lead you through the holiday gift guide with 70 plus gifts for the angler. Check this out.
The December glossy edition of the Fisherman magazine is out now, just in time for the holidays. This issue is the Fisherman magazine's holiday gift guide. Pages and pages of cool gift ideas for you and that angler in your life. The latest rods, reels, electronics, lures, tools, clothing. It's all here and more. And don't forget, the magazine makes a great gift as well. When you subscribe, you get 12 glossy print editions, 26 digital editions to your inbox, this past weekend's reports, full access to the website, and more. As a subscriber, you could also be part of the Dreamboat Challenge and win a new Steigercraft powered by Yamaha. And you can compete for a rigged out kayak from Yak Attack. Subscribe now.
I also just want to walk you through quickly what's in the local edition this time around. We've got 5 great articles in here. We have the Dispatches from the Ditch written by our own East End Eddie. This has become a December tradition. It's just little sort of mini stories that happened on the canal this year. It's always a great read. Always love to hear what Eddie's perspective on what's going on down at the canal. Then we have another guy that we see here on the video all the time, Rowan Lytle. He wrote us a 5 overlooked December species. That's basically encouraging you to leave the holdover striped bass behind and pursue some different species this time. Rowan is one of the best. This article is going to give you 5 species you can chase. It's going to give you where to find them, how to catch them, and you're going to walk away from reading this one with a lot of new knowledge. Next thing we have How to Build Your First Fishing Rod by Mike Garone. This is really just encouraging anyone who's ever wanted to try it and hasn't dipped their toe in yet to read this article and get the inspiration to do so. Then we have another one of our regulars here on the video, Jess Sullivan. He wrote us a story about confidence knots for everything from bluegills all the way to bluefin. A bunch of different knots for all different uses and all the different rigs that he uses depending on species and size and all that stuff. Another really great read. And then of course the ultimate December tradition here at the Fisherman magazine, the Charlie Soares Christmas story. This one's called The Gift Subscription, and reaches back to when he was a young boy and somebody gifted him the gift of inspiration, which has lasted him his entire life. So that is a really great read. You definitely don't want to miss that one. So if you don't get it sent to your house, you can sign up on our website, that's thefisherman.com, or you can head to any tackle shop, and chances are high they're going to have it there on the counter. So definitely give that a read and check us out. Next thing, let's check in with our tournaments. Here's what's going on in the Coastal Kayak Clash and the Dreamboat Challenge.
After nearly a month of relative inactivity, the Coastal Kayak Clash crackled back to life, revealing that the 2025 CKC is poised to wrap up as a true photo finish. Bob Wagner started the bidding with a 24-inch blackfish that appeared to put the New Jersey CKC veteran in the lead, but Todd Treonze entered a 20.25-inch sea bass the very same day that would downgrade one of Wagner's prior catches, locking all 3 of our top competitors into a virtual tie and leaving the tiebreakers to sort out the seeding. So the top 3 remained unchanged. We have Rothan Nong in first place, Dustin Stevens in second, Bob Wagner in third, all with 6 points. This means if any one of these anglers puts an unanswered fish on the scoreboard before the end of the event, they take over the top spot. And don't sleep on Mr. Todd Treonze either. A 24.25-inch tog would allow him to swoop in from off the podium and steal the lead at the last minute.
There's still time left in the Dreamboat Fishing Challenge. The deadline is November 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. There have been no new entries this week, So the leaderboard remains the same. In third place is Ahmed Solomon with 19 points. Second place is Thomas Luciano with 20 points. And in first place is Rashawn Williams with 27 points.
Next thing I wanted to highlight is just remind you guys that sea bass season closes in Connecticut on November 25th. So you've only got 5 more days to go out there and get those sea bass. Bite's been pretty good. And just remind you guys also that your limit is 5 fish per angler at 16 inches or greater. And again, that ends at the end of the day on November 25th. Now let's check in with Jenni Ackerman. Here's the latest installment of Open Boat.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Open Boat. We're still full on fall running it here on the Jersey coast. And I have a very special guest with me, my good friend Shelly Karras, who's been fishing literally since like the 1950s. He's born to fish and he's been fishing for a very long time. So he's gonna share what he has in his plug bag. And of course, I mean, how many 50s do you have under your belt?
Quite a few.
Quite a few. So he knows what he's talking about. Someone who's been fishing for this very long a time, you're honed in on the fishery. So
Right.
Share some of your tips and tricks on what you have, starting off with what used to be what our Jersey bite was prominently on, the sand eels. So what do you use plug-wise when there's sand eels around?
Okay, sand eels, naturally you want a slender profile. One of the lures that you must have in your bag is the tsunami sand eel. They come in 3 different sizes, usually a 6, 8, and a 9 inch.
Okay.
And the sand eels this year, the ones that are around, are on the larger size. So that would be an important lure. And needlefish. This is the new version from Hoagie Lures. It's a stubby, he calls it. It's 2 ounces. And they cast like a rocket and they track along the bottom like a sand eel.
Nice.
So that would be an important lure also. And then metals. Any kind of metals. Small profile, and naturally Avis style jigs. These are a must to have in your bag when the sand eels are around. They're fish catchers.
Yeah, and you could save them because the December season is usually when we see our sand eels. So instead of hanging your red and green Ava jigs on your Christmas tree, you should be throwing them out in the surf. You should still be fishing around the holiday season. And then what if we have a peanut bunker around?
Peanuts, I'm going to use a smaller size lure generally.
Okay.
Something like smaller size shads. There's storms, the tsunami versions. These are a must. And if they're a little bit bigger, we're going to the mid-size shads. These are the heavies.
Yeah.
6 inch. And 2 weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to win Castaways tournament.
There you go.
With a 45.5 inch striper on this lure.
So the proof is in the pudding right there on the shad.
They're a must to have for sure. And then crankbaits, smaller size crankbaits, SP minnow styles. This is a new tsunami version.
Yeah.
These are a must also, in all different colors.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of white though, generally.
I was gonna say, based off of the color spread you have, or the lack of color spread here, you're a white guy. I like white too.
It shows up in a water column,
Yes.
any white. And then if there's bigger bait, the metal lip swimmers are going to be important.
Definitely.
In smaller sizes, like we call them the peanut size, and then the larger size bunker. Big bunker, metal lip swimmers are a must when they're close enough to cast. These are the spooks. The dock is probably one of the most popular today. Very important lure to have in there. It's got a tantalizing action. It just has that sway in motion, and it kind of makes them mad, and they just come out and attack it. So you're going to want to have them, and they're usually like a 3 ounce version. This is a custom wood style. The other choice would be pencil poppers in all different colors and everything. I generally use white, but I figured that's a nice color to show.
I like that too. It's very pretty.
And this is these are a custom one from Salty Degenerate.
Okay.
Makes a beautiful plug.
Yeah.
But that would be, a go-to. And then your traditional poppers. I want that commotion on top.
Of course, yeah.
And then this season, it's a $100 lure, but they're very, very effective. Guys are using them in the backwaters right now, and the boat guys are doing phenomenal. And last Tuesday, a lot of guys that were throwing them from the surf did well.
Yes.
So this imitates the large bunker.
I mean,
sure.
look at that. Open boaters recognize this from last week's episode where we went out with Jesse from Stride Baits, and he was talking about how to work his lure. So you're seeing it. Shelly has it, so you know what's up.
I know when I bought this, my son was with me at one of the flea markets that he was at, and then, as soon as he walked in the house, he said to my wife, "Oh, look what Dad bought for $100."
But how many fish have you caught or have you seen caught on that this season?
I got one nice one up in South Amboy a couple weeks back when they were in there, and then on the beach quite a few. But again, the season's been tough. I'm not going to say it's been challenging.
But if you put your work in, you'll get fish.
Yeah, and you got to jump around.
Yeah.
I mean, like the last few days, it's been pretty quiet, unfortunately, but it's the middle of the month, and we're anticipating having a good run, and hopefully we'll see more peanut bunker and adult bunker and have a tremendous fall.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Hopefully by Thanksgiving time.
I know.
Because I'm skipping Thanksgiving dinner and I'll be out here, so.
I know a lot of my friends a few years back, they were late for dinner. Hopefully that happens.
Hopefully it does. I remember those Thanksgiving mornings and working at the shop, you say, you got to come down here at Thanksgiving because that's when it happens. So. Hopefully, fingers crossed that happens. And stay tuned because we have a double feature with Shelly. I gotta have you on camera more. So stay tuned for next week's Open Boat because Shelly's gonna be sharing all of his years of experience. He just shared us some tips on what's in his plug bag, but he's gonna reference past seasons and how seasons change and how the fishery changes and how surfcasters have to stay positive with how things are changing and just 100%. Go out there and fish, go out there and fish.
100%.
All right, I'm going to take this with me.
Oh, sure.
As a parting gift, and I'll see you out there.
Sounds good.
Last thing, of course, is the giveaway, which is ongoing. And this one wraps up on December 3rd. We're going to give away a really great prize package. It's got a Yozuri mag pencil in there. It's got a Yozuri monster shot. It's got a twitch bait from Tsunami. It's got some bait fuel grubs. It's got some voodoo shads. It's got a bunch of stuff in there. Also going to give you a fillet knife from Dexter. And we got a cool photo this week, and I'm going to tell you why this one has a chance to win. Now, you look at this photo, it's a nice striped bass, right? And that's an overachieving, that fish is overachieving as far as the waistline goes. It's a 38-inch striper that's probably in the high 20-pound class. Now, the photo could be better. I think we all can admit that. The angler's face is in the shadow, the fish is in the sunlight, but this photo comes with a great story. These guys were togging off in New Haven. And John hooked up with this is John Spencer, by the way, he's the angler in the photo. John hooked up with a 10-inch tog. So he's bringing this thing up on the jig, right? Right at the boat, this striper comes up and just eats the tog. Hooks itself on the jig, and obviously he lands the fish and takes this photo. Now that photo coming with that story, in my mind, makes it a great contender. I love a great fish story that goes along with the photo. So if you got one, send it in. Send it in to me at danderson@thefisherman.com or text it to the number on the screen and just let me know you want to be in the giveaway. So, put the word giveaway in there somewhere. And if you're going to send it through email, put giveaway right in the subject line. It makes it really easy for me to sort them out when I'm looking through the dozens of emails I get every day. Send those in and we'll get you in the contest, we'll get you in the magazine, we'll get you in the report, and you might even win something cool. Moving over into the reports now, looking up into the North Country there in Maine, New Hampshire, and even reaching over into Vermont. It's all freshwater at this point. Hearing about some guys doing some damage on some of the trout streams up there. Some lake trout coming out of some of the bigger, especially southern Maine lakes have been putting out some good lake trout. And the smallmouth bass bite has been really strong up there, especially with jerk baits and Ned rigs and things like that. So things are looking really good freshwater wise up on that side of things. On the saltwater end, not a lot of guys really doing any saltwater fishing up there at this point. I think the one thing that everyone's kind of waiting for is the ice to come and the smelt season to open up. And also hearing about a lot of guys in the tackle shops up there gearing up for ice season, which is coming on quicker than you think, especially if you live, in the northern portions of New England. Drop it down over the border into Massachusetts. We're hearing about some guys doing some carp fishing and some perch fishing along the Merrimack River. You also have the opportunity or the possibility to find some striped bass in some of those coves and oxbows and things like that. So that's one thing you can definitely do. Diving inland from there, Wachusett Reservoir is still producing well. It's not killing it though. Guys are working pretty hard to get those lake trout. I have not seen any really big lakers caught in a while, but the bite is still happening. Guys are doing well with things like live shiners, and as well as snapping tins off the bottom, like a Castmaster or something like that. And I would say a surprising number of nice smallmouth bass have been caught more recently. So things are looking pretty good at Wachusett. Definitely got to pick your days, because when it gets really windy there, that place is like as big as Narragansett Bay. And the wind really whips across there, can make it pretty uncomfortable. I can remember spending a few days there where I was literally laying down next to a big rock to stay out of the wind. But I did catch fish on those days, so hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then, looking at some of the inland central Mass ponds and heading out toward the Cape, trout fishing has been very good in all the stocked ponds. Go to mass.gov/trout. You'll get to see the places that have been stocked closest to you. You fish those ponds, you're going to catch some fish. Largemouth bass fishing has also been surprisingly good more recently. I haven't seen a lot of really big fish, but I've seen a lot of solid fish in that 2 to 3 pound range. Jerkbaits, Ned rigs, jigs, all getting it done. I would say the jerkbait leads the way at this time of the year, but that might just be my personal opinion. On the trout end of things, you can get them pretty much any way you want. As far as fishing for stock trout goes, they're pretty easy to catch. You can do with power bait, live worms, live shiners, or pretty much any artificial you want. Those fish are, they have no instincts, so they're very eager to hit. On the saltwater end of things, I'm only hearing about a little bit of action anywhere on the Cape area. Just a few striped bass stragglers in some of those salt ponds along that stretch from like Cotuit out to Woods Hole in that area. Also some smaller striped bass on the south side of the vineyard. I haven't heard of any bonito, but I bet you there's still a few around also on the south side of the vineyard. And then we've got dribs and drabs of tog in some of the, some of those hard pieces of bottom in that big sandy stretch in Nantucket Sound. Better chance though if you fish the Elizabeths or if you fish up inside Buzzards Bay, whether you want to head toward the canal or head toward Westport, there are tog to be had in that area. I have not heard really any reports from the canal this week other than some mackerel being around and some pollock being around in the east end, so you could do that. You want to go down and throw some sabiki rigs around. And now we're going to check in with our field correspondents, of which we only have one from Mass this week, as Danny Palmer's away on business. But this is going to be the return of Roy Leyva and his Western Mass report. Here he is.
Hey Dave and the Fisherman magazine readers. It's your favorite angler from out here in Western Mass, Roy Leyva. We haven't spoken for a while, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of catch up. Season out here in Western Mass has been really good this season. Exceptional 2025. Whether you're fishing for trout or smallmouth bass or pike or even cats in the river, in the Connecticut River. It just seems that a lot of people did very, very well. And some really big fish were caught, especially trout, since the state did such a great job of stocking this spring and fall. That fall stocking is done now. We did have some really low water, so it made autumn, the beginning of September, October, really, it made it a little bit difficult to fish because water levels were really, really low. They are starting to come up. We've had some rain. We're starting to get out of this drought deficit that we were in, but the fishing continues to be strong. Places like Wachusett and Quabbin are still giving up tons of lakers. And as the water cools down, that's going to get better. I know some salmon have entered some of the rivers, but some of those rivers are still kind of low. So we'll see what happens there. And then on top of that, with my drive to work this morning, I'll tell you about my drive to work this morning. Every single small body, I work up in the hill towns, and every small body of water that I drove by was locked up. So I'm not saying we're going to have safe ice anytime soon, but hopefully before Christmas, we'll be able to get on some of these smaller ponds or lakes in the colder regions of Massachusetts out here in Western Mass. I will try to keep you guys updated. I got a few things going on over the next few weeks, and then I'm going on away for a week. So I will be back on here probably sometime around Christmas. All right, keep safe. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Crossing the border into Rhode Island, the main event right now is tog. The bite is still solid. We're seeing I haven't seen any giant fish this week. I've seen fish getting close to 10 pounds. Kayak guys have been getting in on it. I know Todd was getting some fish today, as a matter of fact, and you just gotta get a day like today. It's been so windy that a lot of times it's just impossible to get out there. So we have a couple of weather windows. I think it looks like Thursday is going to be decent. So today, as far as when this video lands, it looks like it's going to be decent. And there's a window over the weekend, but there's a lot of wind surrounding it. So you really got to kind of thread that needle. But the bite's been decent. Also hearing about some nice sized sea bass in the East Passage, and then heading out in front of Jamestown and kind of going out in front of Point Judith. There's a lot of keeper sized fish, but there's just enough of these fish kind of getting up close to that 20-inch range to keep things interesting. So that bite's been pretty solid. And there's been some mackerel around as well. On the striped bass end of things, it's been spotty at best, but that again could have more to do with the wind than anything else. It has been just so windy that it's kept a lot of, especially surf guys, it's made it impossible at times for guys to safely or effectively fish. When we get some of these calmer days, guys are still finding fish. There are striped bass up to slot size moving along the beaches, and then there's been some fish up inside the bay too, kind of getting up toward Providence and Warwick. We're hearing about transient schools of fish up that way as well, probably going to hold over up in Providence or in the Seekonk River. As we turn the corner around Point Judith and get along the South County beaches, that's where your chances for striped bass get better. There's still stripers from Deep Hole all the way out to Watch Hill. These fish they're not as plentiful as they have been over the last couple weeks, but they're still there. I would definitely start at a breachway or a strong, prominent point and work my way down from there. We have seen some gannets working over herring or mackerel, which is going to attract some of these bigger fish that are, still straggling along. Out by Block Island, I haven't really heard a ton this week. I bet you those bonito are still there. I just haven't heard any reports. And then looking inland from there, the trout fishing's been good across Rhode Island, although it does seem like those windy days have been tough on the trout guys. On the other hand, I've been doing a little largemouth fishing in Rhode Island over the last couple weeks, and those windy days have really been productive for me. Not catching giant fish. I'm getting a lot of fish in the 2 to 3.5 pound range. I'm getting them on small swim baits, like 5 inches long, or a suspending jerk bait, and I'm just fishing the wind-blown shorelines. So, I noticed a lot of small bait was getting pushed up against those shorelines, started fishing those spots a little bit harder, and it's really been paying off. So that's something that you guys can try really anywhere in New England, but if you're fishing in Rhode Island, well, you might as well give it a shot there. And now let's check in with our Rhode Island field correspondents.
Thanks, Dave. So, hey guys, I got to tell you, things have slowed down quite a bit. I get it. The weather sucks. It's been windy. It's tough to get out. For me personally, if taking my boat off the slip or on the trailer, it's slow. I get it. But let me tell you, there's a lot of opportunities still to get out there, especially in the East Bay, to do some fishing. I've got some really slim reports of some striped bass, and I'm talking micro striped bass in the Barrington River. There's not many, very few. They're popping at night. You can hear them. There's some very small micro bait that's been swimming around the Bridge Islands, and my buddy Frank checked in with me again, and I'd say he's a diehard just like I am, and he's getting out there. I haven't had a chance to visit the Barrington Bridge this week, but his report is always good to me when he checks in with me. There's a lot of bait trapped inside the Coles River. There's still a lot of bait out front of Twisted Point at the mouth of the Kickamulet. I haven't heard any reports of bass on them. I've gone out there, I can see the birds. There are some birds, very few birds. It's not like it used to be. I get it, it's dwindling down. But hey, when things start dwindling down, I start tying rigs, getting ready for pretty much an upcoming trip that I'll be taking on Sunday on Sarastar Charters with the Hook Gear guys, Todd Treonze, Dustin Stevens, and big shout out to Coral. She's going to host us on that trip. Looking for some double-digit tog. Speaking of the tog, haven't heard much either about the tog still inside of the bay or underneath the Mount Hope Bridge. You do have a shot probably at the Stone Bridge in Tiverton and that little bit of deeper water, which is a little bit closer to the ocean. Maybe Secana Point, either by boat or by shore. Just getting to some of those deeper crevices, or even more towards Newport. There's tons of spots you can actually try. But inside the bay and East Bay, things have slowed down quite a bit, and I get it. But don't put your gear away yet, because I did get some reports of some white perch way up inside the Taunton River, almost to the Ossonant River. So you can fish for white perch up there from shore. If you get a little small boat, you can just get up there too. If you're still on a trailer in the water, you can launch from Somerset. You can launch from the boat ramp in Ossonant, and you can get up into these little like tidal tributaries, I would call them, where salt water meets fresh, brackish water. You're gonna find white perch there. They're feeding right now. A couple of the ponds here in Swansea, Milford Pond, Upper Warren Reservoir, lots of pickerel being caught, lots of yellow perch, and an occasional bass. I just think the water chilled off a little bit, and the bass bites kind of dwindled off a little bit. But I gotta tell you, all in all, it's been a good season. Everything's still good. There's still lots of opportunities in the East Bay, so you got to get out there and fish. So from the East Bay, tight lines, guys. See you next week.
In the famed waters of Panama awaits a fishing experience like no other. Tropic Star Lodge welcomes anglers to get in on world-famous fishing action. Plan your perfect trip today. Tropic Star Lodge, the ultimate in fishing adventures for more than 60 years.
What's happening, guys? What's up, Dave? This week I've kind of been dedicating my whole week or two to just throwing big baits around for largemouth. I just been doing largemouth fishing and doing some trout fishing with some finesse stuff. So I've kind of been going like big baits and then small baits. So it's never anything in between. Just go to show you, it's like big high-tech fat impact swing baits, with the rib body. So that definitely moves a lot of water. That tail moves a lot of water. And, I'm fishing deeper stuff. So, I want those fish to really see that bait and move for it. So that's key. You want those fish to move for that bait. Some Huddlestons here and there, off the points. I've been using those. That tail, it moves a lot of water around. So that makes fish want to eat that profile, nice and slow off the bottom. Your cast could literally take you 5 to 10 minutes. I think I said this before, but I can't stress that enough, guys. Like, if you're using big swim baits and you're going slow with them, take your time. Take your time. There's no reason to rush it and realize, like, oh, I'm not getting bit. I'm not getting bit. You probably had 5 or 6 bass look at that bait and just not move. So if you keep throwing it there, maybe on the 20th or 30th cast, they'll be like, all right, I'll eat it. So you just got to be patient. Just let it run its course. Be patient. Don't bring anything but big baits out. See what happens. You'll thank me later. Also, deep structure crankbait fishing. A lot of you guys just stick to shallow rip wraps and using the shallow square bills, and that's all fine and dandy. It definitely works. But this time of year, I like throwing the deep stuff. This time of year and the summertime, like the dog days of summer, I'll throw, the deeper diver stuff with cooler water. But I need to get down there where they're at in the structure. I know my fish. I know where they are, so I know what they like. And I know they like this crankbait. So I've been throwing these bigger build style crankbaits here to hit off that structure down there, to create noise, create a reaction strike, get those fish to eat that are lethargic, that don't want big baits or want anything. And they just kind of seem just like, in a little funk. I get them to eat and react to crankbaits. Also, it has a little bit of a rattle in it, if you can hear that. But that really gets them to kind of commit too. And I'm fishing stained water, so a chartreuse with like a little breen back there, that works great. And this goes to like 20-25 feet, and it slow rises. So I want to hit off that structure and have that bait kind of come up, slow rise, pause, and then go back at it. But you got to figure out the cadence with your fish. Every fish is different, every situation is different. So but other than that, it's been a good bite, Dave. The trout bite's been good. I've been using the small Easy Shiner Kitex for that bite, on grass flats and coves, even on Castmasters, big Cleo spoons, 1/2 ounce to 2/5. And inline spinners are working for them as well. But as for the saltwater side of things, I hung it up for till April, and then when the stripers return and when Tog opens in the spring, I will resume my missions then. But for right now, Dave, it's just been freshwater, putting my thinking cap on, trying new stuff, and trying to get my green girls out at night. And it's been a battle, but it's a fun battle. All right, I'll check you guys next week. Later.
Hey, John Lay, JL Charters, Point Youth, Rhode Island. We finally got some good weather. I was able to get out and really do some fishing today. In fact, by midday, the wind went light and variable, kind of that greasy calm that I haven't seen in what feels like 2 months. Mostly been bottom fishing. That green bonita bite that I had in that fairly concentrated area, I went out after we had all that westerlies last week and the water temperature dropped and I couldn't find a single fish. And what's wild about the bonitas, bluefins will do this too. Once one fish swims one direction and they all say, well, I'm going to follow that fish, and the fish are just gone. There's not 4 left. There's not 10 left. There's nothing. They're gone. It's just other things like sea bass and scup and fluke. The migrations are more of a trickle. The fish kind of go in waves. You get these pulses of fish. We had a good sea bass trip today. We had a good one 3 days ago. Fishing south of Block, southeast of Block, still anchoring the boat, still using green crabs, kind of still targeting tautog, but getting big sea bass. And we got some of the biggest sea bass of the year this week. I'm going to go tomorrow. I got some trips this weekend and early next week. So this weather pattern is allowing us to get out and access some of these offshore spots. I love this time of the year. And hopefully it just kind of holds a little bit longer. Anyway, take care. Have a good one.
Introducing the Yak Attack Sand Rig Surf Cart, the ultimate beach hauler for serious anglers. Glide effortlessly over soft sand with wide balloon wheels and lightweight, corrosion-resistant construction that's completely customizable with options. Whether it's rods, coolers, or tackle, haul it all with ease. Built by surf fishermen and engineered by Yak Attack.
Hey Dave, Todd, Treonze, Hooked Fishing Gear. After a couple weeks of travels, back at fishing in Rhode Island, so happy to give a report this week. A couple different things I'll give an update on. Started with freshwater. Did some freshwater fishing late last week. The Rhode Island DM has done a great job of stocking, so got a chance to get out there and chase some trout. What I found is that a lot of the trout are pretty locked in now on power bait. Had a hit on a Rapala perch minnow, but lost that fish. Started working a hair jig, and over 2 days caught a nice mixed bag of yellow perch, white perch, some crappie mixed in there, and then a nice rainbow towards the end. So switched off to that kind of like a little bit of a fly / jig presentation, and was able to get a nice mix of different freshwater fish there. So good to see a little bit of that kind of going on in the Ed season, and then pivoted back to saltwater on the weekend. Started out Saturday focusing on black sea bass. This time of year, I like to troll a Yozuri deep diver in 20 to 25 feet of water, and was able to get a nice 3-fish limit on Saturday morning with fish up to the low 20 inches, which was pretty cool to see. And then was able to get out and do some tog fishing as well. And been keeping some green crabs ready to go for when the wind finally died down, and it did. And was able to get out there and fishing deeper now, fishing drop-offs around 55, 65 feet. And the fish are still there, good limits. One of my buddies caught a really nice one today, double-digit fish. So definitely some good fish out there to be had, even from the kayak, as we get into that almost December period here. And, big thing is from a safety perspective, it's definitely dry suit weather out there in the kayak. So, but bite continues to be strong for tog. That's all I have for now. The other thing is a lot of macs out there. Coming across a lot of macs as we were kind of getting out to the spaces to go after the tog. You mark them, drop down a jig, and you're instantly on a mac. So anybody interested in macs, a lot of macs out there out front of Newport. So that's all for this week. Hope everybody has a great weekend on the water. It looks like we got some wind that's actually going to be in our favor this weekend. And stay hooked out there.
Crossing the border into Connecticut, the main event in Connecticut, just like Rhode Island, is tautog fishing. But the fishing in the Sound is going to wind down pretty quickly here, not because the fish are going to leave, but because 2 of the big seasons are about to close. We've got sea bass closing on the 25th. You got tautog closing on the 28th. So basically, you've got a week to make hay, as they say. So You know, you got 5 days to go get those sea bass. It's been pretty good. I've been seeing a lot of stuff coming off of the social media feeds of like the Black Hawk and stuff like that. Those guys are getting a lot of nice sea bass right now. They're getting some tog. They're even getting some porgies. So they must be fishing some deep water to be getting those porgies. But yeah, it's been decent. The bottom fishing's been good. Whether you want to jump on the Sunbeam or the Black Hawk, or you want to do it on your own boat, you still got time. And then something else that you may not know is that the sea bass regulations, the sea bass season stays open for party boats all the way to the end of the year in Connecticut. So, you know, if you get through this, if you get through the Thanksgiving holiday and you're still got an itching for some sea bass, you know, hop on the Black Hawk, hop on the Sunbeam and get out there and make something happen, because they're going to keep fishing, you know, right through December. So that's a great opportunity for anyone who wants to bend a rod. On the striped bass end of things, eastern half of the sound seems to be a lot more smaller fish right now, although I know from experience that there are probably some big fish still nosing along those shorelines. Those points that stick out into the sound, they get a really nice tide rip on a lot of those, and those are going to attract some of those fish. Another way to get the job done is to fish the mouths of the rivers. So I've been hearing about some smaller striped bass, like up to slot size around the Thames River and around the Connecticut River mouth, and then getting up inside of both of those rivers. And that seems to be the general report, is that the stripers have been on the smaller side. The exceptions have been out in the Western Sound. The mouth of the Housatonic River is always good at this time of the year, always have an opportunity to get a really nice sized fish. And then also those deep reefs off of Norwalk, off of Mamaroneck. That's that diamond jig bite, happens every year. You can get some big bluefish, you can get some really nice striped bass. And you might even get a couple of sea bass before the season closes too, if you make it happen right away. And then the only other thing that I've been hearing about is some inland fishing. State's been doing a great job stocking with the salmon and the trout. Guys are cashing in on that. They've been putting in some trophy brook trout, which guys have been getting excited about. And you know, the Naugatuck and the Shetucket have both been stocked multiple times now with Atlantic salmon, which presents a really unique opportunity. Right now it's catch and release only, but I mean, that's a great fish, a really fun fish to catch. As we get more toward the Western Sound, we're going to check in with our field correspondent, so we'll let Max fill us in on the rest of it. But here's our field correspondence now.
Hey everybody, for this week's fishing forecast, the water temperature in eastern Long Island Sound is down to the low 50s. Black fishing is still going to be good. You can expect those blackfish to move to the deeper parts of the reefs now, and that should be good right through the end of the season. I know we have a good weather window here. I'm sure the black fishing is going to be really good. Also, the stripers, especially schoolie stripers, are starting to move in really good right now. They're starting to make their way to the winter holding areas, and they're going to hit soft plastics really good. Small finesse fish on a half-ounce jig head is going to work really good for those stripers right now. That's about it. This is going to be our last weekend fishing. Good luck.
Hey everyone, Max here from Fisherman's World with your weekly fishing report. This past week, between the wind, guys that got out reported good blackfish bites, starting to really heat up on our deep water structure and wrecks. I've seen fish over 8 pounds consistently now coming from more than 50 foot on some of our deep water wrecks south of the island. Also 20 AC, the deeper water parts, we're starting to see some really big knothead sea bass and nice blackfish. The shallow bite's still going. It's not nearly as strong as it was a couple weeks ago. It's more of a pick now. I would say the quality went up, but your quantity went way down. I mean, drastically. Guys that were reporting like 30-to-1 ratio, they're getting, you know, like one solid fish every, let's say, 30 minutes or so, or getting a bite every 5 to 10 minutes, which is still really good. But before that, it was like drop a crab, nibble. It was either a porgy, small, black sea bass, or a blackfish. So we're starting to see some nicer fish now in these colder temps, and that should just continue to get better progressing into November. Striped bass are still along our beaches. They're still up and tight. Rick was out last night. He had fished almost 40 inches in Norwalk Harbor on Gravity Tackle's paddle tails. So guys, if your boat got put away, you could still be in the game fishing up and tight like Norwalk Harbor. Saugatuck is a really good spot, and of course the Housatonic. So this time of year, we see the bass out front, usually out in the mouth, starting to enter, starting to stage, and then we'll have some going upriver this time of year, some really bigger fish chasing the shad that are around. So shad, we've heard a you know, some shad being in the rivers. And if you find shad up in rivers this time of year, you're gonna find some really, really nice fish. Throwing stuff like big mag darters, and SP minnows in the bigger sizes is always a good bet this time of year. The month of November, we're running a sale right now, 25% off some of your most popular rods. So come in the store, check them out. They're right in the front of the store. And also, this is a really good time of year to get your service in. If you want to beat the crowds, get your reel back. Don't be the guy that waits to April to bring the reel to get service. And then we tell you it's, you know, over a month to get your reel. And you're just like, now is the time. If you're done fishing and you hung it up, bring your reels in. If they need servicing, this is the best time to get them in. Thanks and good luck.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
That's what I have for you guys in the reports this week. Hopefully it's going to inspire you to get out there. You're just going to have to dodge those wind gusts, because this is just, like I said to somebody earlier today, it's been like 75 days of hurricane lately. It's just wind after wind after wind. But if you thread the needle, you know, you find those days like today when it looks like glass out there, you can make something happen. And also, don't forget, the latest edition of the Fisherman magazine is on the shelf now, or it's in your mailbox, so give it a good read. If you're not a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, I highly recommend you head over to our website. That's thefisherman.com. You get a full taste of what we offer. We cover all the fishing from Delaware to Maine. We have travel pieces that reach outside the region and outside the country, and we cover all angling disciplines, whether you're a surf guy, a freshwater guy, kayak guy, or you're, you know, firing up the regulator and heading all the way out to the canyons. We got you covered. It's $31.95 for a year. It's the best $32 you're going to spend if you're a fisherman. It's a great holiday gift as well. But you're going to get 12 of these sent to your house once a month. You're going to get 26 digital editions sent to your email every week from April to mid-November. Like I said, it's the best $32 you can spend in fishing. You get all our back issues. You get access to our other editions online. It's incredible. But if you're not interested after you check the website, which would be hard to believe, at the very least, give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube and hit that little bell thing right down there so you get a notification every time we post something new. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.